Who is the subject referred to as he in the poem? A silent visitor or time? What does the phrase silent steps suggest? Quiet, continuous presence. What does the repetition of he comes, ever comes emphasize? The certainty and constancy of his coming. What literary device is predominantly used in the line he comes, ever comes? Repetition. According to the poem, when does he come? Every moment, day, night, age. What does many a song have I sung in many a mood of mind mean? The poet has expressed many emotions through songs. How do the songs mentioned in the poem relate to him? They proclaim his coming repeatedly. What is the significance of fragrant days of sunny April? It symbolizes a pleasant, joyful time. What does the thundering chariot of clouds symbolize? Stormy weather or a heavy rainfall. In which month does he come in the rainy gloom of July nights? July. What feeling does sorrow after sorrow convey? Continuous pain or sadness? What effect do his steps have on the poet's heart in times of sorrow? They press upon the heart, implying a heavy influence. What does the golden touch of his feet symbolize? The healing or bringing of joy? What is the general tone of the poem? Calm and reflective. In the poem, what can the forest path symbolize? Life's journey. What is the meaning of fragrant in the fragrant days of sunny April? Sweet smelling, pleasant. What does the poet mean by his steps that press upon my heart? Emotional impact or burden. How are contrasts used in the poem? Between day and night, between sorrow and joy, between rain and sunshine. The phrase thundering chariot of clouds is an example of metaphor. What type of poem is this based on its style? Lyrical. What does the repetition of he comes across different settings indicate? The inevitability and omnipresence of he. Which phrase best represents the continuity of time in the poem? Every moment and every age. The poet's mood throughout the poem is accepting. The golden touch is an example of metaphor. What theme is prominent in the poem? The inevitability of change or time. Who might he represent in a symbolic sense other than time, fate, or destiny? How is the poet's relationship with he described, observant and reflective? What does many a song have I sung imply about the poet? The poet has experienced many emotional states. In the phrase, press upon my heart, what does press mean? To push heavily. What mood is created by rainy, gloomy of July nights? Dark and somber. What is the significance of the phrase ever comes? Eternal and never ending arrival. What kind of imagery is mostly used in the poem? Visual and auditory. The repetition in the poem creates a feeling of monotony and continuity. What is the tone of the poem when describing sorrow? Reflective and gentle. What symbolizes the passage of time in the poem? The silent steps. Which line suggests that he brings both sorrow and joy? In sorrow after joy, it is his steps that press upon my heart, and it is the golden touch of his feet that makes my joy to shine. What is implied by thundering chariot of clouds, stormy and powerful arrival? What kind of visitor is described in the poem? Silent and constant. How does the poet feel about the arrival of he? Resigned and accepting. The phrase every moment and every age emphasizes timelessness and eternity. How does the poet describe the effect of his coming on joy? It makes joy shine. How does the poem personify time or fate? As a silent and eternal visitor who comes on silent steps. The phrase golden touch of his feet relates to transformation or healing. What is the mood created by the fragrant days of sunny April, bright and hopeful? What does many a song have I sung in many a mood of mind suggest about the poet's experience? They are varied and emotional. What literal technique is used in press upon my heart? Metaphor. The steps can be interpreted as symbolic of the passage of time or experience. What does the phrase over ever come suggest about the inevitability of he? Always arrives without fail. Which mood best fits the repeated line he comes, ever comes? Somber inevitability. The poem's central message is change, time or fate is constant and inevitable, bringing both sorrow and joy.